Hello, it is Ryan, and we could all use an extra bright spot in our day, couldn't we? Just to make up for things like sitting in traffic, doing the dishes, counting your steps, you know, all the mundane stuff. That is why I'm such a big fan of Chumba Casino. Chumba Casino has all your favorite social casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere with daily bonuses. That should brighten your day a little. Actually, a lot. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com. That's ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
I loved this movie. I think it has like really similar vibes to The Notebook.
Okay.
In that, like, it's just like a period piece, or part of it is a period piece, right? And it kind of is a throwback to a bit of historical aspects. It has some historical features, the fashion.
Sorry, one of your favorite things about this romantic comedy is the history lessons that you get.
Yes, because I love history.
The Golden Gate Bridge being built.
Yes, okay, I loved that.
Shut up. This is ridiculous.
I'm a big history fan and a history buff.
Welcome to the Rom-Com Rewind Podcast.
Hi, I'm Sarah.
And I'm Devin.
And like you, I love rewatching movies over and over again.
You're joining us here. You're listening. You probably enjoy romantic comedies. We do as well.
So this is a show where we rewatch rom-coms, break them down a bit for you, maybe take a peek behind the curtain, dig beneath the surface, and decide, does it still hold up?
This week we have
The Age of Adaline.
And if you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts, make sure you subscribe. Write a little review about us if you like. Spotify, you can follow us, hit the bell icon to be notified, and as well if you want to reach out and chat about stuff, at Romcom Rewind on Instagram and TikTok.
Claire reached out and said, Happy New Year's, guys. I just watched 500 Days of Summer because Devin talks a lot about it on the pod.
Love
and I've
it
never
so much,
seen
Claire.
It.
Yes.
Gotta say, I have no idea how he likes this movie.
What?
The entire ending was a weep warning.
Yes.
I went into it so positive and left kind of shell-shocked.
Yeah, but then there's the hope at the end of the tunnel.
No, there's literally no hope at this movie.
No, because then he meets... I'm not even going to get into it.
No, we haven't gone into the movie. But I completely agree with you, Claire. For the life of me, I don't know why he loves it so much.
Listen, hey, weep warnings are good, ladies and gentlemen. That can be very cathartic.
Not when it's at the end of the movie.
Aren't most weep warnings at the end of the movie?
No.
For this movie, my weep warning is right at the end of the movie.
No, okay, my weep warning is not at the end of the movie. My weep warning is like smack dab, kind of in the middle. When the dog dies.
Oh.
I bawled.
I would say spoiler alert, but the dog is really just a...
Most adorable thing ever.
Placeholder for... Yeah. We're talking about The Age of Adaline.
We are.
It's a 2015 romantic comedy directed by Lee Tollin Krieger. He was also involved in Celeste and Jesse Forever.
I don't think I've ever seen that one.
It's Andy Samberg.
Oh, yeah, no, I never watched that one.
Don't you like it, though, because it's Andy Samberg?
Well, I love anything that Andy Samberg does, but I haven't seen it.
So, well, we should put it on the list. The Age of Adaline is the story of Adeline Bowman, played by Blake Lively. Now, when we first meet Adeline, it is the present day. She's going by the name of Jenny, and she's purchasing fake ID documents. Why on the earth would she need a fake ID? Well, Adeline's birth date is New Year's Day 1908. Somehow, and we'll get into it, Adeline has been alive for over a century and yet still looks exactly like she did on her 29th birthday, 1937. That's a key piece of the plot. So how is it possible that this is happening to Adeline? What does that mean for her love life over the years and decades? And what does that mean for her love life right now, this second? Especially when a guy named Ellis, played by Michelle Huisman, he shows up. That's maybe our love interest. Just want to hint on that. But first, what are your thoughts on The Age of Adaline?
Ma'am, it says here you were born in 1908. That makes you 45 years old.
That's right.
Adeline Marie Bowman was born on January 1st, 1908. Many years later, she would begin a family of her own. On a cold winter night in 1935, Adeline's life would change forever. In that moment, something incredible happened. Its effect was almost magical. will henceforth be immune to the ravages of time. She will never age another day.
I'd like to ask you a few questions, Miss Bowman.
The next time we see each other, I'll have a new identity.
I loved this movie. I think it has like really similar vibes to The Notebook.
Okay.
In that, like, it's just like a period piece, or part of it is a period piece, right? And it kind of is a throwback to a bit of historical aspects, and has some historical features, the fashion.
Sorry, one of your favorite things about this romantic comedy is the history lessons that you get from it.
Yes, because I love history.
The Golden Gate Bridge being built.
Yes, okay,
What-
I loved that. I am
Shut up. This is ridiculous.
I'm a big history fan and history buff, and I loved that this was like, she was born in 1908. How cool. She's still 29. Her life, you got to see flashbacks of her life, you know, like in the 30s, in the 40s, in the 60s, and like, it's just so cool. I loved it.
God,
I
you're
loved
so
the
lame.
story. I know, and I don't care. We learned about ships underneath San Francisco. Like, how cool is that?
Oh, the boats was my favorite part of this romantic comedy. Like, what? What are you talking about?
Well, and the love story, like how
Right, thank
treasured it's such a treasure. It's adorable. Blake Lively's awesome in it.
Yeah.
She's
Yeah,
great.
She's pretty good.
Oh, I really liked her in this. I thought I actually was going to ask you, do you think this is Blake Lively's best movie?
I think
I think it is.
I don't love her character all the time. She's kind of bland at times.
Well, she's boring, yeah.
She's very boring, but at the same time, she's, spoiler alert, playing a woman who's like
On
over
the run.
100.
And on the run.
Yeah. On the run, but like a very old soul, right? I think Blake Lively is one of the few actresses I would pick to play that role.
Yes.
I don't think the character's amazing, but I think she is one of the few people who could do it pretty well.
Oh, yeah, like she's got a very classic look.
You need somebody
Timeless.
You need somebody timeless, like I'm gonna throw out a name there, Emma Stone.
No, I couldn't see Emma Stone playing this.
Yeah.
I could see Rachel McAdams playing this, though.
I could see Emma Watson playing it, actually.
Oh, yes, I like that.
So, similar to you, I appreciate the attempt of this movie. It's kind of like, I see where you're going with The Notebook. I was looking more like The Curious Case of Benjamin Button a little bit.
Ooh, yeah,
'Cause
it falls into that whole weird scientific concept.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're the explanation to this is kind of stupid, but basically we've got a person who's living backwards in The Curious Case of Benjamin Button, or in this one, she just
Doesn't
is
age.
immortal. It's also kind of like, it's Curious Case of Benjamin Button meets About Time, I think.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Because there is something kind of like fatalistic to it, I guess.
I haven't seen About Time.
Oh!
So, and actually, we were going to do About Time.
Because we've gotten like 100 messages.
Totally.
about
But it's
Time.
not on any streaming service right now in Canada. So we are patiently waiting. And as soon as it goes up, if any of you know, please let us know ASAP.
Yeah, because we want to pick things that are fairly easily accessible to people. We don't want to be like,
Yeah.
hey, like you can get it for $11 on Paramount Plus.
So you
No
can
offense
watch
to
it with
Paramount Plus,
us.
but like that's kind of stupid. Netflix, HBO Max,
Amazon Prime.
Amazon Prime,
Crave.
yeah,
That's in Canada.
Yeah, like the big ones. We assume it's very easy for you to watch with us, so we try to pick that. This
Yeah.
movie, I think, did a remarkable job of just being interesting enough to keep me hooked. And just when I'm like, oh man, this movie's so lame, that's when it hits its stride.
Okay, because I was going to say, I was hooked the entire time. Like,
You were-
I enjoyed watching this movie from start to finish.
That's because we're like doing
I-
flashbacks to the 50s.
Okay.
And you're like, wow, what a boat.
I
The
actually-
historical significance of it.
I actually don't even want to tell you what my best scene is now, because like you're just going to be like, I can't even handle you.
So for me, not to spoil anything, but the tee up to the story was very interesting. The meet cute, loved it. And then for the next
Yeah.
40 minutes, I was like, oh, so this is what the movie is. And then I will admit, there's a big reveal that we'll get to, and I'm like, oh baby, let's do this. How do we wrap this up in the last 40 minutes? Fantastic, I think. And I don't even think it's a pacing problem. I think they did it by design. Like,
Well,
this
yeah.
movie's a slow burn.
It is a slow burn. I
It-
would agree.
It's more similar to like a suspense mystery with rom-com elements.
So it's actually deemed a romance fantasy.
Oh, is that what it
Yes.
is?
Yeah, it throws in that fantasy aspect of it because she's immortal.
Because she's immortal. Well, let's get into
In
it.
a very scientific way.
Tell us how she becomes immortal, Sarah. Let's
Yeah.
kick this off.
Okay, so like you said, it opens up her with her getting a new ID card. and she works at the city's archives. And on New Year's Eve, which is her birthday, she's asked to digitalize some of the old reels from the archives. And one of them is 1906 to 1908, which is the year she's born. And it seems to be how they start to tell her story, how they tell how she's become immortal. I don't know, like, is she immortal? She just doesn't age. She's ageless.
Yeah.
And because she becomes ageless because she is in a car accident because it snows in an area where she's driving, and she gets struck by lightning. And there's a really, really intense scientific explanation that I will be honest, I glazed over this because it's not history related, it's scientifically related. And now she can't age.
So, and can't age is appropriate because I was saying immortal, that's not wrong because she can die.
She can die.
She just doesn't age. So theoretically, if nothing happens to her, she'll never die. And there's this significance to the fact that it's snowing in San Francisco the night this car accident happens in
Sedona?
1937. And yeah, so she falls into this lake. She's stuck in her vehicle. The lake gets struck by lightning, and boom, she now doesn't age.
Her cells have transformed into ageless cells.
So you're listening to this and you're thinking, this, like, I've heard dumber plot points in movies, but honestly, not many. You know what it reminds me of? It feels like a superhero, like a Marvel character's backstory.
It does, actually. She could play,
Is
my
she
God.
kind of like a superhero a little bit?
They could have made her into a Marvel character, although...
Hello, it is Ryan, and I was on a flight the other day playing one of my favorite social spin slot games on ChumbaCasino.com. I looked over at the person sitting next to me, and you know what they were doing? They were also playing Chumba Casino. Coincidence? I think not. Everybody's loving having fun with it. Chumba Casino is home to hundreds of casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere, even at 30,000 feet. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com to claim your free welcome bonus. That's ChumbaCasino.com and live the Chumba life.
No purchase necessary. VGW. Void were prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18 plus.
Oh,
What's
I like
your
it.
superpower? I just don't get old.
Is it kind of like what happened to Captain America? Whoa.
Fairly similar.
Yes.
So here's a game.
Okay.
The game is, does this give me superpowers or am I making it up?
Okay.
So what you're about to hear is real backstories from comic book characters, and they're either going to be real or I just made them up.
Okay.
All right, so here's the story. This person's abandoned by a child, raised by a condor, like the bird.
So, sorry, hold on. The child is abandoned by a child?
The child's abandoned,
Okay.
raised by a condor.
What's a condor?
It's a bird. It's like a big, huge bird.
Cool. Okay.
The bird taught him how to fly.
Oh, okay. That's real.
That is real.
Yeah.
That is the story of Black Condor. He is a superhero who can flap his arms, his human arms, and fly like a bird.
Stop it.
Yeah.
Is it a comic, or are they going to make that into some type of movie?
I'm sure they wrote that, and maybe 10 years later they're like, "This is guys. Why does this exist?"
I would agree. Honestly, I took a stab in the dark there, but
Oh, yeah.
Okay, next.
Okay, this person, so he's flying like a prop airplane. The airplane crashes into the ocean, and he gets electrocuted by eels in the ocean.
That's real.
No, I made that up.
Oh,
That's
that
fake.
was a good one. That one's actually better than the first one.
Then the first, right? I could make better Marvel comics.
You could. Okay. Sorry, Stanley.
So this person gets bit by a cobra as a child, and the father decides he could cure the child using mongoose blood as like an anti-venom.
Like, I want to say it's real because I don't think you'd come up with mongoose, but I'm going to say it's fake.
No, it's real.
Oh,
That's
dang.
the story of the Wizard.
Hold on.
Yeah, I know. I know.
Let me back up here. The Marvel character's name is the Wizard. Not Wizard.
No.
Wizard.
Wizard. Yeah. He's got superhuman speed, so
I
I
bet
thought
he
they were like,
does.
hey, he's a whiz. And
Oh,
then,
no.
Yeah, because it was probably back in like the 50s or something that they came up with the Wizard, right?
And it's even like, it's not just Wiz. Like, that would have been
No.
even slightly better.
No,
but
it's the Wizard. Yeah. Yeah.
Don't let him near your white snow.
Okay, so
That was such a bad joke, Devin. Oh my God. I can't believe I said that.
I
Okay.
was gonna gloss over it, but you put your stamp in that joke.
I did. It was really bad. Okay. God.
Like, you've got dad jokes. I hope you
I know,
that.
I do.
Okay, so this person found a costume in some catacombs, and he put the costume on, and it turned him into a superhero. Just like that, just superhero.
What kind of superhero?
He has a shield.
Okay, no, that's fake. You had to come up with that on the fly.
No, he's called the Defensor,
Dog.
and he's from Argentina.
Is this a comic book?
Yeah, he's an Argentinian like construction worker, and he goes down into. Like,
It's cool that like, that's a terrible plot.
Okay, so now last one: car crashes into a lake, and the lake gets struck by lightning.
Oh my God.
Is that real or is it?
It's fake.
It's the story
Adeline.
of Adaline.
But I have to say, like, that is better than some of these.
Does it not fit
real
with the
ones.
ridiculousness of a lot of these?
I think she'd be a better superhero than half of them.
I
Just
don't
give
know.
her some lightning powers and you're good to go.
Listen, the Wizard, like, let's be real.
Oh.
Do you want to see what he? No. Well,
The Wizard, that's a really
feel free
bad
to
one.
Google the Wizard. I'm not making that up. He is real. WHIZZER.
Also, you can take a drink every time we say Wizard.
Wizard!
In this podcast. So it kind of goes through the decades a little bit.
We tell Adeline's backstory, right?
Yes, we tell Adeline's backstory through this like reel, and obviously you can tell like the reel doesn't show this, and it's more of just like the narrator telling her story. So she gets pulled over, and she would normally be 45 years old, but because she's ageless, she looks and is 29. And so she decides, the cop says like, oh, like...
Ma'am, it says here you were born January 1st, 1908.
That's right.
That would make you 45 years old?
Yes.
Ma'am, I'm going to hold on to this. When you come by the station house to pick it up, please bring your birth certificate.
She realizes that she needs to GTFO.
Well, and then the FBI get on her tail a little
Yeah,
bit.
so she decides to move back to San Francisco and works at the school so that she can figure out her condition. She works at the university in San Francisco at a medical school, and she tries to figure out her condition and what it is. And
After a year of intense study, Adeline Bowman was forced to confront the fact that there was absolutely no scientific explanation for her condition.
but where it starts to kind of build is the FBI kind of is stalking her and says they want to run some tests on her. And so she realizes that they know, which like how? I don't know how the FBI would have ever figured it out from like a routine stop that she was supposed to look 45. Like it just doesn't make any sense. But anyway, she by this time has a young adult daughter, and her name is Fleming. And she tells her daughter that she's leaving, and the next time that they see each other, Fleming will have to introduce her as her friend. And then from that point on, she changed her look and moved every decade.
Yeah, so every 10 years, Adeline gets new fake IDs and documents. She changes her job, she changes her name, she changes her location, and she's been essentially just like hopping from place to place every 10 years so that people don't catch on.
It is Ryan Seacrest here. There was a recent social media trend which consisted of flying on a plane with no music, no movies, no entertainment. But a better trend would be going to ChumbaCasino.com. It's like having a mini social casino in your pocket. Chumba Casino has over 100 online casino-style games, all absolutely free. It's the most fun you can have online and on a plane. So grab your free welcome bonus now at ChumbaCasino.com. Sponsored by Chumba Casino.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
That she's not aging.
Which, like, I think it's actually a really good laid out plan, but you don't have a life.
No.
You don't end
You've got
up...
a life for 10 years at a time.
Yeah, and previous context, she does have her daughter Fleming with... She does marry her husband, and he ends up dying in the building of the San Francisco Bridge.
Yeah, he passes
Yeah,
away.
she only has Fleming. Back to modern day, like I said, it's New Year's Eve, and she goes to a New Year's Eve party with her friend Amanda, and clearly a friend that she's had for a really long time because she is older than Adeline.
Yeah, and I don't mean to be controversial here, but Amanda is blind, which is kind of the perfect friend to have
Absolutely.
if you're Adeline, because she's never going to know that you're not aging.
No, and Amanda
Is that rude, or is that just a fact? Like,
No,
it
and
kind of works out.
I think Amanda, she points out, which I chuckled at because it is very true, right? Adeline probably gets hit on constantly. She's 29, she's beautiful. And Amanda can never understand why, at let's say they're 45 or 50, and she can never understand, oh, all these young men always want to like chat you up and chat us up. And I don't know why, because we're older than them. And I'm just laughing. I'm like, yeah, if you knew.
Yeah, right? It's Blake Lively beside you. Like, stunning.
Yeah. So she steps out right before midnight, and her daughter calls to wish her a happy birthday. And I just thought that was really sweet. I just thought that was really cute. While at this New Year's Eve party, she kind of catches the eye of this guy who turns out to be Ellis, and he's really good looking.
Okay, that's our meet cute.
Yes,
And
okay, we'll dive into the meet cute then, Dev.
Ellis, that was like a Leo DiCaprio,
It was,
Great
actually.
Gatsby vibe kind of moment.
Totally. Oh my God, it was. I
Like
love
it's
it.
New
Love
Year's
it.
Eve. He's looking like $1 million.
He is so she.
Beard perfectly. What do you do to a beard? Coiffed.
I was going to say coiffed.
Coiffed. Hair looks perfect, and he just stares at her,
Yeah.
and she looks back at him.
Stares at him.
And then some girl comes up and kisses his cheek, and Adeline, I think, is kind of like, ugh, God,
Another one.
he's with somebody. She decides to dip out, and then he ends up following her to the elevator, and he takes the elevator down with her.
Which is like, it is the ultimate meet cute, because that took some balls.
Took some balls. Is that a little bit of a power move? Like, hey,
I
I'm
think
just going to
so.
get in the elevator just to have a conversation with you.
Well, yeah, he's clearly making the effort to talk to her.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so if it was in a different setting, though, would it be as romantic? Like if it was in if it was in a club, and
I'm going to follow you outside. Yeah, then
right,
it's weird.
right? Like, so I think it was environment, circumstance, like everything that made it romantic.
I also think he's a very like disarming guy. Like he's a little bit quirky. He's like a beautiful man, but he's a little bit nerdy, right? Like he's not awkward, but yeah. So I think because it's him, it's like, oh, that's cute and adorable and a little bit of a power move. Good for you, Ellis. You know?
Yeah, I liked it. I thought it was really, really cute. Meet cute.
So, where you off to?
Some place with better food. My apartment. Yourself?
Back to the party. I just wanted to spend 27 floors with you.
So she more or less blows him off. She's like, I'm going home. And he's like, can I have your number? She's like, nope, goodbye. Literally, like, the next day.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
She's working at the office, and somebody comes in and makes a massive donation of books.
Old books.
To their collection.
Mm-hmm.
And he wants to make that donation in person. That guy is the same dude. That's Ellis.
Yes, and he actually saw her previously because he's on the board of directors for the city archives and saw her before. And while they were in the elevator the night before, he said he wanted to give her flowers.
Yeah.
Or something like that. He gives her flowers in the form of books, which I think is such a romantic gesture.
Yeah, it was like White Oleander, and there was a few other
Daisy
books.
something, and yeah, there were 3 books, and I was just like, swoon. Like
That's a clever move, honestly.
That right there is intelligent. It shows that you're not just like trying to get some, you know? Like you really put thought into how you were going to.
You're making me swoon over your mind.
Yes.
Like your brain, wow.
Yeah, and he's good looking.
And
Come on,
he's
he is the
actually
whole
good-looking.
package.
Oh my God.
Adeline goes to meet her daughter Fleming the next day for lunch. And like you said, she is, in her 70s or 80s. She's an old woman. How hard do you think that would be? Like her now being so old and her staying so young. Like, how would you feel about that?
I mean, it's so tough. I wonder how much time they actually get to spend together because this happens to be a moment in time when Adeline has moved back to San Francisco, which is where she grew up. So presumably, she's going to, where's she going? Like Seattle next?
Oregon?
Over the years, I don't know how much time they've actually spent together. I think Fleming actually makes a comment.
She does. Yeah. The last photo that they have together is from 1954.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I was like, oh man, like, and Adeline doesn't like to get her picture taken, and rightly so, because even that night at the New Year's Eve party, she's walking in, and she is. This is a quick fact, but she's wearing the exact same dress that she wore in the photo that she sees of herself from like the 40s, 50s.
I didn't even notice that.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Well, and as well, Ellis is coming to make that donation of books.
Yes.
And he wants to take a photo op. And he wants her to be in it, and she's like,
pushes back.
absolutely not. Like she was actually very firm with him of like, I'm just not getting my picture taken.
He does eventually ask her out for dinner, and they do go. It's a pretty cute date night, and she stays the night.
Dun, dun, dun.
They do it.
You can tell me anything you want and I'll believe it. I know almost nothing about you.
I did want to ask you a question. So she's 29, basically forever. She is fit, beautiful. Like, she is someone who could do anything. If you had forever, what would you learn? Like, if you could learn something or do something, what would it be if you had forever?
Such a tough question.
I know.
Because you know what I'm realizing right now is that, my first answer would be like, I just have all these years at peak athletic performance.
Exactly, yeah.
I'm going to pick something that I think I could be an Olympic something in.
Cool.
But hold on. Then all the attention's drawn to you.
Yes,
You're on the
couldn't.
world stage. You can't do it.
No, you couldn't.
You can't be good enough at one thing that it draws too much attention to yourself.
Right.
If I had all the time in the world, I would get extremely good at piano. I would do some stuff like that.
And I mean, for her, she learns Braille for her friend. She can
That's
speak
right.
a few languages. I mean, she's been
a lot of
yeah.
languages.
And so, okay, this is funny because they don't really go into like her having learned all these things over the course. You just kind of pick it up throughout the movie. But when I saw this, I was like, oh, it's like Twilight when Edward Cullen talks about how like he's had forever to live and he's like done all these things because they don't sleep either.
Oh my God, are you equating this movie to
No,
Twilight
I'm
right
not
now?
equating it to
Jesus.
to Twilight, but
The historical facts are amazing, and also the vampire part of it is very...
Oh my God,
There's a vampire
no.
connection here, guys.
no, there's not.
What?
No, but like they talk about how like he doesn't sleep, so he like basically has been to, like school a billion times and like graduated from whatever. So I mean, her being, I guess she has to be a lot more careful though because she doesn't want to be poked and prodded by like with tests through the FBI and
She
government.
can't be so obvious about things.
But yeah, that's kind of what made me think of it was that she was learning Braille for Amanda.
What would you do?
I would probably learn languages, and I would probably travel if I could and learn everyone like different cultures and stuff, and like live in different countries to kind of immerse myself in the cultures. So one day while she's driving, she drives by a bench, and there's a flashback to probably around the 60s. I can just tell by the bangs. To a man sitting on a bench waiting with for a proposal. And she keeps driving. She tells the cab to keep driving. So I think, obviously, it's foreshadowing for what's to come.
Did you think it was foreshadowing?
I did.
No.
I did. I was like,
I did not think that.
No? Oh my God. I was like, that was for her.
Which is why the hook... Well, no, I knew it was for her, but I'm not like... I didn't think that character was going to show up again.
Oh, I didn't know if the character would show up again, but I
Oh.
figured it was foreshadowing for something. Like, I didn't know the storyline, but I was like, this is something in the future. Like, this is going to be brought up again.
Yeah, because we see her backstory just in kind of like
Pieces.
silos of time. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And then she comes home to find her dog sick. Like I said, bawled.
Is this the weep warning for you?
This is the weep warning for me. I literally like was crying. Like I had to get a tissue because like I couldn't. And then of course like we have a dog, and so I went and hugged her like our dog because I was like, oh my God, I can't.
I thought this part was so irrelevant to the movie. I'm like, oh, okay, there's a dog, and then the dog passes away. I'm like, okay, like why is this important?
So I think it's important because she pulls out some photo albums throughout the movie, and one of them is a photo album of all the dogs that she's had since she was a little girl when she actually could age. And I think it's a timestamp for her every time.
Hello, it is Ryan, and I was on a flight the other day playing one of my favorite social spin slot games on ChumbaCasino.com. I looked over at the person sitting next to me, and you know what they were doing? They were also playing Chumba Casino. Coincidence? I think not. Everybody's loving having fun with it. Chumba Casino is home to hundreds of casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere, even at 30,000 feet. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com to claim your free welcome bonus. That's ChumbaCasino.com and live the Chumba life.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
A dog passes away. It's just another piece where everyone else can age and pass on, but she can't. She's stuck in this ageless body of 29, and that's what I think it represents because she gets the same kind of dog every single time.
It's very profound, Sarah. I like that because I think that's an important thing to like. If you are ageless, what happens when the people around you start passing away?
Yeah.
And we see her not quite be able to come to grips with that with her daughter Fleming.
Oh, absolutely.
Because Fleming's like, yeah, I want to move to Arizona. I need.
Yeah, she wants to live in a retirement home.
Yeah, Adaline kind of challenges her on that, and you can tell she's grappling with the whole. My daughter's going to pass away before me.
Yeah.
Not through any, horrible circumstance, just because she is
Life.
aging. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think for Fleming, a big piece of this movie, and it's very subtle as well, but she kind of pushes her mom to say, like, you need to find somebody, you need to find someone to love, you need to open yourself up, you need to tell somebody that you are ageless and that this is your life. Because I think she also realizes that once I'm gone, she has no one.
Yeah.
She has no one to talk to about this who's from the past. And Fleming actually makes the remark by saying, you don't have to run anymore because everyone who knew is dead.
Yeah.
And it's a really good point because it's true. She only has Fleming left if she doesn't open herself up to telling somebody and a life.
So I'll be honest, at this point, probably the last 30 minutes, I'm like, nah, this dog died. Oh, that's sad, I guess.
So sad.
Yeah. But now we're getting into the juicy stuff. So immediately, when we jump to Ellis's parents' house, I gasped. I made a noise.
Did you?
Because the dad,
yeah,
William,
mm-hmm.
Ellis's father, is Harrison Ford.
I know.
I love Harrison Ford.
Me too. He's aged really well.
And it's pretty clear that Ellis's family is very well off, and he's kind of complaining about, oh, is this girl just after his money or whatever? And so here's the thing. We have Ellis and Adaline driving to his parents' place for their 50th. The sister's there as well.
Yep.
Harrison Ford is, how old do you think? 60s?
Yeah.
So in walks Adaline and Ellis. Everybody's doing the greeting at the door.
Mm-hmm.
And Harrison Ford, William, he recognizes her.
Yeah, if he had a plate in his hand, it would have smashed on the ground.
He, just is awestruck.
He is.
What a twist. I was totally not expecting it. And this fully pulled the movie back in. Because at first I thought, wow, that's Harrison Ford. And then, not only that, he says her real name. He says Adaline. He doesn't
Bowman.
say... That's right.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't say a fake name that she made up, but because it's clear that he recognizes her. So, maybe it was one of her other iterations and they worked together. No. He knew her real name. Oh, baby. And now I'm in. What's going to happen next? Is he going to figure it out? Is he going to have a breakdown? Is she going to run off and leave? What are the things that are about to occur? Because, oh man, what a twist. I loved the next, the whole rest of the movie. I was so in.
Well, this was your best scene, eh?
No.
Oh, okay.
My best scene is coming up, though.
Oh, okay. This was my best scene.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it all put everything together for me. Because I was like, oh my gosh, that's the man on the bench.
So did you know right away that he was the man on the bench?
As soon as he said Adaline Bowman, I was like, they were together in the 60s, and I was like, oh my god. And then when his wife asked, oh, who's Adaline?
He said
he said, oh, we're an old friend. We were very, very, very close. And he kept repeating that. And Ellis is like, oh, how did you know her? And he's like, oh, I knew her when we lived in London in the 60s. And of course, Adeline's like, oh, that was my mother. And he's like, oh, how was your mother doing? And she passed away 6 years ago. I put it all together. I was like, oh my God, you were the man on the bench who was going to propose to her. And she drove off.
So to be clear, she is still going by the name Jenny. So
Correct.
She walks in and Ellis is like, this is Jenny.
Yeah.
And William says, Adaline Bowman. So she, he said, it's uncanny how much she looks like Adaline. So worked well on her feet.
Did.
Yeah, that was my
definitely.
mom, actually. So, she's... she is lying to him, but, it's...
Oh, I think she was just as shocked to see him.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, it was a little heartbreaking. Because, you could tell that they were a great love.
Yeah.
And part of me was like, would they have gotten married if she... Clearly, she trusted him enough to say her full real name. There's so many questions that went through my mind, but they go through their romance in the 60s, meeting in London, and then they went back to the U.S. And like I said, she even told him his real name.
Her real name, yeah.
Her real name, sorry.
I think William added so much heart to this movie because I think this movie is very like glitzy and it's glamorous. You know, we see like the Roaring 20s and we see the 60s and it's all very nostalgic and fun. But it, like, a lot of it's very surface, I guess. Like, we see her at a New Year's Eve party. She's wearing this stunning dress. And then we've got Harrison Ford, who is just like, he's got a family, but like when he sees this person who he used to love exactly the same way as she was, he kind of like breaks a little bit.
Oh my God. That's what I mean. It was almost heartbreaking to watch.
Yeah. But like, he cared so much. Harrison's performance in this was impeccable.
He was really, I mean, he is fabulous. But his wife is a little jelly.
Yeah. Because the next morning at breakfast, you know, he's talking about Adeline and he's really like, she was an amazing woman.
Yeah,
you know, she knew all these languages and she was so intelligent. And he was just like talking about this woman nonstop.
And I don't think he realized that it was really bothering her, like his wife. And you know, I think it was a blast from the past that he had kind of forgotten about, right? And he had let go, and it all came rushing back to him. But would you tell your significant other how involved you were with them? Like, if they're that jealous at that point? Like, she asks, like, who was she to you, kind of thing. And he just kind of says, oh, like, you know, we were just friends. We were really close. Like, would you tell them? I was going to say, because, like, it's hard because clearly she can tell. I think her name's Kathy. Kathy can tell that it was a great love just without even him saying it. So would him actually coming out and say it add fuel to the fire? I mean, people have relationships before getting together with their significant other. So
I feel like there's a trip question.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I agree. Like, everybody's had past relationships. That's not a big deal. The deal is, though, that Adeline is physically in there.
I know.
And, I mean, everybody thinks that it's just Adeline's daughter, but, like, for William, it's like, no, like, that looks exactly like Adeline.
Yeah,
That's crazy. Wow, she knows other languages, too. This is wild. It's a little too real. It's a little too, like, right there
too
in front
close,
of you.
right?
Yeah, so I'd probably just lie that away. No, we were just friends. Like, it was nothing.
Interesting.
No big deal. Yeah. No reason to.
So they play Trivial Pursuit. She kills it, which I also thought was really fun because I was like, oh, she's either gonna like fake being really crappy at this or like she's gonna get everything. I'm really happy that they did it so that she'd get everything because I think that's awesome. Because she lived through it all. But this is where she gets the most shocked is William is an astronomer. His life's work is based on this comet.
Della.
Yeah, you remember the comet I told you about, the one that my dad discovered? He named it Della C 1981.
Which was her nickname.
Which, it's an interesting thing because that comes out around the whole family, the mom, Ellis, the sister. Obviously, William knows who it's about, and Adeline knows exactly who it's about.
Yeah.
So it's, like, very uncomfortable, but, like, just for her?
Well,
and a little bit for him, too.
And then Ellis says, oh, yeah, that was my great aunt or something. And I'm like, no, it wasn't. I mean, luckily there was a great aunt that had a name similar to Adeline that you could kind of play off of Della. Adeline takes a walk, and it just so happens that William's sitting outside as well, and they're in the garden, and he's stargazing, and he tells Adeline that Adeline was a near miss, just like the comet. He was going to propose. The woman, Adeline, your mother, stood me up, and Adeline does tell William that my mother did love you too. And I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah. Well, she gets right up front with him about it because she asks him, hey, why did you name it after my mom? Like, I know that that's what people called her. They called her Della. Like I said, this movie, Harrison Ford just brought so much more
just layers to it.
Layers, just something
like an onion
deep in my chest. You know, man.
It moved you,
it's
eh?
like chicken noodle soup. It's just good for the soul.
Oh my God! Is that why they named those books that?
Probably because it is good for the. That's what my mom always used to say. Chicken noodle soup is good for the soul.
She does make good chicken noodle soup.
Fantastic.
Okay, how would you feel dating the son of your past love?
Oh, I had this too, actually. I was going to talk about it later, but we can do it right now.
Okay, let's do it right now.
So, yeah, is it weird that Adeline had a relationship with William and she's now dating his son, Ellis?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
It is 100% real weird. Like, it's not weird. It's real weird.
That's weird.
It is.
And
it is really weird.
It was like 40 years ago.
I
but-
wonder in her mind, is she like, oh, I see the similarities? Like when they're naked?
Oh my God.
I'm just kidding.
But no, you get those questions, right? Because imagine, let's play this out right now. What if I say, hey, Sarah, I'm ageless. I've been around this world for 100 years. What do you say?
I would have so many questions. Like, what year were you born? How old are you really? Not ageless wise, but how old would you be? Have you dated my mom?
Yeah. And what if I said, I banged your mom back in the 60s?
Yeah, that would be weird.
That's weird, right?
Yeah, no, it would be really weird. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never not said it was not weird.
Okay. Yeah, but we just need to play it out to confirm. That's very strange.
Super weird.
Okay.
Okay, think about it this way. So William does.
You look like that meme of that person with the math equation behind them, and they're trying to wait. But hold on, if William's the dad,
no. Okay, hold on. Before I lose it.
Yeah, okay.
William does find out that it's Adaline.
Yeah,
and wouldn't in that moment? Oh no, it's drifting away. He realized that he asks her, "Do you love Ellis?" And she said yes. He will forever have her in his life.
Yeah.
If they get married.
Well, they are.
No,
they keep on dating after this.
I know, but how does that make him feel? He put that all behind him. He married Kathy, the love of his life, but is she the love of his life?
No, she's the second choice after Adaline.
Well, yeah, now because he's dating and married to his son. Weird.
Family reunion is going to be kind of strange. So, let's jump into the best scene.
Your best scene.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
It's the William Harrison Ford reveal scene.
Yes.
Because the next day, Ellis goes shopping. He leaves. Kathy leaves. It's basically just William and Adaline at the house. And Adeline's like, hey, I'm gonna go for a walk. And there's a moment, I can't remember why it happens.
So there's a ladybug in her hair.
Oh, yes. And he goes to grab the ladybug, and he catches her hand kind of thing. And he notices a scar on her inside palm. He kind of has this... Man, Harrison Ford's such a great actor, because I'm like, I don't understand what's happening right now, but he's freaking out, man. He's just having a breakdown. Something's going on, and he frantically goes into their greenhouse, and he's shuffling through things. He's kind of like manic almost, and he grabs this photo.
Yeah.
And it's a photo of him and Adaline from back in the 60s. And then we get an actual flashback to them wandering through the woods, and she cuts the inside of her palm on a branch. And he, back in the 60s, stitches it up.
Yes, because he was in medical school at that point.
The scar is in the exact same spot. So he's putting it all together like, oh my God, Jenny is not Adeline's daughter. Jenny is Adaline. They're the same human.
And it is absolutely heartbreaking for him to find that out. Everything comes rushing back, and watching it, it would be beyond heartbreaking to find that out. It really would be.
And then he ends up driving his vehicle down their laneway until he gets to her and he confronts her. I like though that he's not pissed about it. I thought they were gonna play it into a thing where he gets into a rage, angry, but he's kind of just not comprehending what's happening.
I thought I was losing my mind. How is this possible?
I was normal. And then one day I just stopped. I wanted to tell you so badly, but I couldn't. You know what they do to me. I would have been a
Curiosity. Specimen.
Yes.
I think he steals the scene in every scene he's in this movie.
Yeah, he pleads with her not to run because he knows that she's going to run because that's exactly what happened to him. He gets it now, He understands why she didn't show up because she's ageless, she doesn't age. And so he pleads with her not to run and live her life with Ellis and asks her point blank, do you love Ellis? And she says yes. But she runs back to the house, packs up her things, writes Ellis a note while he's in the shower, and she takes off.
Okay, that whole thing's BS.
Why?
Because Harrison Ford has a vehicle. He has an automobile.
An automobile.
And she darts into the forest. And he gets in the automobile to get back to the house. How does she get there before him, has time to write a note, and leave in another vehicle. Like, he gets there just in time.
Her superpowers are kicking
How
in.
how fast is this girl running through the forest? Like, how long is your laneway, dude?
Yeah, also, like, she's never been in that forest before. So, like, how does she
exactly
know
where to go.
how does she know where to go?
Annoyed me a little bit. So then Ellis comes back, and this is just poor movie management, in my opinion. Ellis is in the shower. We finally see this guy shirtless.
It is Ryan Seacrest here. There was a recent social media trend which consisted of flying on a plane with no music, no movies, no entertainment. But a better trend would be going to ChumbaCasino.com. It's like having a mini social casino in your pocket. Chumba Casino has over 100 online casino-style games, all absolutely free. It's the most fun you can have online and on a plane. So grab your free welcome bonus now at ChumbaCasino.com. Sponsored by Chumba Casino.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Yeah.
Dude's ripped the heck up.
He is.
He looks great.
He does.
Where was that all movie?
You know what? He's so good looking and he's such a good actor. He doesn't need to take off his shirt.
If this was a Matthew McConaughey movie,
exactly,
those abs would be
But that's what I'm saying. He didn't need to.
on display.
I mean, I'm glad he did. So while she's driving, she has a change of heart and turns around, but she gets hit by a car.
Kind of happened out of nowhere.
It did, yeah. But while she was driving, it starts to snow, just like it did, 78 years before that when she turned ageless. Dun, 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 the narrator starts. You can tell it's going to be scientific soon.
Dude, I hate the narrator. Keep going, though.
But it's reversed. She goes into hypothermic state because of the snow. She dies. Her heart basically stops. And she survives, though.
Because an ambulance comes and defibrillates her.
Yes.
Which, as the narrator tells us, is exactly like that night 70 years ago.
When the lightning struck her in the water. And when she wakes up, Ellis is there. And
she wakes, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
She tells him,
well, first, my name isn't Jenny.
what would you think in that moment if somebody said, my name's actually not Jenny and I'm ageless and I'm 29? And like, what would your reaction be when like this woman just ran out on you? You'd really barely know her. She's come to your family's house. Your dad totally was like perplexed the entire weekend and totally like stunned. And then you tell like, my name's actually not Jenny and I'm 29, but I'm really like 100 and some. Like, that's a lot.
I'd be like, I had sex with a really old lady. Like, I don't know if I like that. That's kind of weird. And then, from there, it would, back to the conversation before, I think I would be very inquisitive and interested until the inevitable, so wait, you knew my dad.
Yeah, okay, yes, that's where I would be like, okay, you definitely knew my dad. That means you are Adaline Bowman. My dad named a comet after you. You were his great love.
And that's when we're cutting things off. We're done at that
Wow,
point.
yeah.
I mean, then again, it's Blake Lively. She's extremely attractive. But probably cutting things off there, let's be real. And also, like, yeah, I banged a woman who's like 100. That would sit pretty weird with me.
Yeah. But Fleming shows up and says, oh, yes, this is I'm her grandmother. And she is beyond pleased when Adaline tells her that, no, I told Ellis. And she's like, oh, and in that moment, you can see the relief from Fleming. And I think it's a lot of reasons. Like, she's opening herself up. She's telling people that she's, ageless. She has somebody to talk to and be with once I'm gone. Like,
she doesn't need to live a lie.
Yeah,
like, this
she doesn't
was
need to
my
run.
warning, actually, when Fleming starts to tear up. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, so cute.
Not the freaking dog. Like
the dog died. I was really sad about it.
And then, I mean, we get a quick clip of William and his wife, and he's doing a toast at their anniversary. But after that, we jump ahead 1 year.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like maybe Fleming is living with Adaline and Ellis.
Yes.
It's New Year's Eve again. It is Adeline's birthday again. And she's with Ellis. Fleming is there. They're like, hey, do you want to come with us? Fleming doesn't want to go out. But they're gearing up for a night on the town for Adeline's birthday. And we do get a moment when Blake Lively is walking past a mirror, and she kind of goes back to the mirror. What's that? Right above my ear. She pulls out a gray hair.
Adaline, you okay?
Yes. Perfect.
Also, she has blonde hair, so finding that gray hair just by walking by a mirror would not happen as quickly as it did. But anyway.
I mean, she's had 100 years to look at her face, and it's never changed. I think she might notice a gray hair.
Perhaps.
But, more or less, she's now aging. And then the actual ending is my what should have been, because then we have the narrator then explaining, the comets come back.
Yes,
blah, blah.
the comet finally comes just 87 years late.
Yeah, exactly.
It's your what should have been?
I hate it.
Oh, okay. So there shouldn't have been a comet.
No. I'll explain.
Oh, okay. I can't wait.
Let's jump into quick facts.
To create a sense of authenticity for shots set in the 1930s, 40s, and 50s, filmmakers used anamorphic lenses and limited the use of Steadicams. Adeline's birthday on the fake ID she uses at the beginning of the movie is actually the same birthday as Blake Lively's, August 25th, with only 1 year difference. Adeline says 1986, and Blake Lively was born in 1987. Adeline Bowman was born on January 1, 1908, and is 107 years old in the modern-day story. The poem Jenny Kissed Me is a poem by Leigh Hunt. It's referenced by Ellis in the movie. Angela Lansbury was cast to play Fleming in 2010 when Katherine Heigl was attached to play the lead role.
Whoa.
Katherine Heigl decided she wanted to spend more time with family and dropped out of the film. When casting was finalized again with Blake Lively in the lead role, Angela Lansbury was no longer attached to the movie, and Ellen Burstyn had taken on the role to play Fleming.
2015, this was around that time that Katherine Heigl just stopped getting roles.
Yeah.
I find that kind of fascinating. Just throwing that out there.
Okay. The narration in the film is voiced by actor Hugh Ross, who also provided voiceover work for movies like The Assassination of Jesse James by the coward Robert Ford. When he's not acting, he also works as an editor with credits on New Girl, Fresh Off the Boat, and Those Who Can't. Harrison Ford's character has the surname Jones, the same last name as his iconic Indiana Jones character. Fleming as a first name is exclusively a boy's name originating from Denmark. Much of this movie was filmed in Vancouver, Canada. There's no such city as Ashton, Oregon. This is where Adeline is planning to move into her farmhouse. There are cities named Ashton in California, Georgia, Idaho, Illinois, Iowa, Kansas, Maryland, Michigan, Minnesota, Nebraska, South Dakota, West Virginia, and Wisconsin. They couldn't have picked one of them. The question has been asked whether Harrison Ford dubbed the voice of his character's younger self.
Oh my God, that was impeccable.
Totally. I was like, I believed it. The answer is no. Director Lee Toland Krager found Anthony Ingruber impressions of Harrison Ford on his YouTube channel and sent him an email asking him to try out for the movie. Anthony said he's been doing his Harrison Ford impressions since he was 15.
It was amazing. He did such a good job.
He did. The story about ships beneath San Francisco that Ellis tells Adeline is true. Hundreds of ships were abandoned by hopeful gold miners. One fellow set up a salvage company, hauling some of them ashore and leaving some afloat to be used as storage units, boarding houses, and even a jail and a church. The city needed to expand its acreage so that they could expand the harbor, so they sold water lots. People would take an abandoned boat, scuttle it, and then claim the lot. To keep it, they had to fill in the water by dumping rock, sand, and dirt. As it settled, much of it served to support the ships, and many of the hulls were preserved largely intact. Decades later, as underground utilities were being installed, the ships were discovered. So far, they have found some 500 of them. Much of downtown San Francisco was built on top of them.
Wow.
J. Mills Goodlow's original screenplay featured New York as the setting for the film, but the author later changed the location to San Francisco because he thought it had more appropriate ambiance for the movie. A fragment of a song by American recorder artist Lana Del Rey appears in the trailer for the movie. The track did not appear in the film or on the soundtrack, and it is still unreleased.
Fascinating.
Two well-known Marilyn Monroe movies inspired the period color tone and saturation. These movies were Gentlemen Prefer Blondes from 1953 and How to Marry a Millionaire, also from 1953. J. Mills Goodlow wrote the first version of the script in 2003 after being inspired by the title character in Amélie from 2001. The screenplay then underwent many substantial changes in 2009.
On to honorable mentions. What's your honorable mention?
Well, is it bad if I say Harrison Ford?
So I had actually written down Harrison Ford, but I also assumed that you were just going to say him. So.
Oh, okay. So you did as well?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I mean, he's stellar. I love him. I love him in every movie he does, though. He's such a good actor.
I find there are some roles that he's like, I don't know, I get a vibe that he's not totally in it. Like, he doesn't really care. But then also, maybe that's just his character coming across on screen.
Maybe. What are you thinking?
Like, I'm thinking of Morning Glory.
Oh.
Maybe it's because his character is like, I don't really care about this.
Yeah.
And there are times that I'm like, does Harrison Ford not care about the performance? Or is his character just so good at not caring about things?
That's what I was going to say.
That I think I can't say enough about Harrison Ford in this movie. What should have been?
I don't have a what should have been. I really liked this movie.
We should not have had a damn narrator explaining everything. Like, the only thing that really needed to be narrated to me was the original, like, hold up, how did she get her powers? That story, explain that to me, please. But when she gets into the second car crash, I'm like, dude, I get it. She's freezing. She's going into hypothermia, and an ambulance comes along. They hit her with the defibrillator. We don't need some, like, voice of God, and then the lightning or the electricity. Like, dude, the movie's not even 2 hours. I remember when it happened at the beginning of the movie. I understand it's the same thing.
Yeah, but some people won't get it.
No, you can understand. You can put two and two together. It's the snow, the way they shot the snow coming down, top view. And then the effing narrator comes along right at the end again.
Hugh Ross.
Yeah, and he's like, hey, that's a gray hair. Like, yeah, dude, we saw her pluck it. And then he's like, and then the comet.
The instant Adeline's heart was struck by the defibrillator paddles, the telomere structures in her genes regained their pliability, causing her to resume the natural course of aging. William was right after all. The Comet de la Sea 1981 finally did return, a half-century late.
It's coming back? Like, I get the analogy, bro. She's the comet's named after her.
But I think it adds to it trying to be like a timeless, like a period movie.
You know how they should have ended it?
Tell us.
Instead of having the stupid narrator being like, and then there's the comet. We should have just had Harrison Ford alone out on his property with a telescope, looking at the comet.
Oh, that would have been really good.
And then he pulls his eyes away from the telescope, and he's looking up into the sky, and he gets teary-eyed. Wow. And then we understand. That's Della. Is that not a better way to end the movie?
It is, but I think people needed to know that how she went back to how she went back to aging.
No, I would have gotten it.
Yeah, you would have gotten it.
She's
Not
freezing again,
would've.
and then she got electrocuted again. Come on, guys. We can put all this together. And then we see a gray hair, and then we cut to Harrison Ford looking through the telescope, and the comet's back.
Okay.
You know what? I'm angry about the narrator here. This is something that's really sitting deep with me.
Yeah, I was going to say, it sits real deep with you.
Yeah. Rewatchability.
Okay, so my rewatchability is as follows. Chemistry, 4.75. Storyline, 5. Thirst factor, 5. Imagination, 4.5. Soundtrack, 3.5. Cheese, 3.75 for an overall score of 4.42 out of 5.
What? Shut
Is
up,
that too low?
Sarah. That's way high.
No, it's not.
4.42?
No, I loved it.
That's one of the highest we've ever rated.
No, it's not. But
yeah,
I love it. I loved this movie.
So I had Chemistry, 3.5.
Okay.
Storyline, 4. Thirst factor, 4.5. Imagination, 4.8. Soundtrack, 4. Cheese, 4.
Wow.
For an overall score of 4.13 out of 5.
Okay.
Which is high. It's not that's like as high as I'll go, though.
Oh, is it?
I'm even thinking of dropping some of these numbers down.
No.
So let's wrap things up before I get there. Looking at you, soundtrack.
Yeah, I was going to say, my soundtrack was lower than yours.
Yeah, I don't even know why. Anyway, this has been the Rom-Com Rewind of the Age of Adaline. If you want to reach out on Instagram or TikTok, you can do that at Romcom Rewind. You know, if you have some thoughts on what you've heard today, or if you want to suggest some movies, we love adding things to our list. And we also just love hearing your opinions. It's so much fun when we get to interact with you. As well, if you're listening on Spotify, make sure you follow, subscribe on Apple Podcasts.
Thanks for listening.
Ryan Seacrest here. When you have a busy schedule, it's important to maximize your downtime. One of the best ways to do that is by going to ChumbaCasino.com. Chumba Casino has all your favorite social casino games like spin slots, bingo, and solitaire that you can play for free for a chance to redeem some serious prizes. So hop on to ChumbaCasino.com now and live the Chumba life. Sponsored by Chumba Casino.